Alright, time to reveal the Cater Sanctuary Ride line of Triple Drive Booster, so let's begin. But before we begin, we're gonna start off with some V/Premium promos, which in this case is for both Nubatama and Aquaforce, and both of them have this same ability, and I'm not gonna really go over this, but the first ability is that if it's being discarded for G-Guardian, it is also counted as a heal trigger. And then the second skill both relates to getting more shield value basically. I'm gonna call these heal fodder or G-Guard fodder cards because that's basically what they are. You discard it, they count as a heal for G-Guardians. Now I'm not gonna entirely say these are not good to run, it just depends on deck space. You might not even have the deck space to basically play more defensive cards. But it is nice that they're making more defensive cards. It's just kind of weird that they have a first skill for premium while the second skill is basically for both. And now to the ride line itself, here's the starter, Dreaming Bonds Leuhan. As you can tell, he is a knight with a horse beside him, and that horse is going to be very important. In which we go to the grade 1 with K-Power, Hard-Working Bonds Leuhan, which has the skill of auto when rolled upon by the grade 2 Leuhan, costs Soul Blast 1, look at top 5 cards of your deck to choose up to 1 Soul Rinsing Spring of Dragons or 1 grade 2 or less non-sentinel units from among them and add to your hand and of course shuffle your deck. Basically add some consistency. In which we go to the grade 2 with 10k power, Guard Running Through the Earth Leuhan, which has the skill of auto when rolled upon by a grade 3 Leuhan, choose one of your Vanguards until the end of turn, reduces counterblast cost by its original auto ability by 1. Obviously cost reduction is always nice because of course it saves you resources. In which we go to Soul Awakening Guard Leuhan, which is the grade 3 with 30 power and the skill is act Vanguard once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 Mirrors and call it to rear guard, and of course shuffle your deck. Mirrors is actually the horse of the deck, that's why I said the horse is going to be important, especially on how important it is with the second skill because partner and crime reasons, where Auto Vanguard. At the end of the battle, this card attack costs counterblast 1, put a grade 2 rear guard that is Mirrors into your soul and then search your deck or hand for 1 grade through Laha Mirrors from among them and ride as stand, and then until the end turn, put the revealed cards of the drive check that your Vanguard attacked to the bottom of the deck instead to your hand. If you search your deck, of course shuffle it. Basically the idea is Lauren is going to be riding on his partner in crime, and since this is Luha Mirrors, this is actually him riding on top of his partner in crime, and you will see why later with another card. But it's basically 2 Vanguard attacks with still pressure drive checks, but you do not get those pluses to your hand. But still not too bad because this card can give you a plus and also the extra attack. And then to the support cards, before we go to the horses, we are going to go to that order card that I mentioned from the grade 1, Soul Rinsing Spring of Dragons, which is a grade 1 normal order, and you play it by counterblasting 1 and your Vanguard is Leuhan. Choose up to 2 normal units from drop zone, choose a grade with less than or equal to your Vanguard and call it to rear guard, and then put the other one to the bottom deck, and the called unit gets plus 5k power. This is nice just for recycling purposes, only reason why you would run this card, and also your grade 1 can search this. And then to his horse, Guard Running Through the Earth Mirrors, which is a grade 2 with 10k power and the skills auto rear guard. When this card attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Leuhan, this card gives us 5k power until the end of that battle. Of course, not too bad being a 15k attacker, which can hit through stuff on its own, which also has a second skill where auto, when put the soul from rear guard by the ability of your Leuhan, if you persona ride during the turn, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets plus drive plus 1 until the end turn. This is going to be one of your most important key pieces of the deck, so obviously this is going to be a 4 of, and because of the cost requiring to put this to soul anyway, your new Superior Vanguard is not going to get any cards to the hand, but basically still extra pressure because of the extra drive. Sure, it has to be on a persona ride turn, but still overall not too bad. I just wish it wasn't restricted to persona ride turn because yeah, this does make it a little restrictive, but you have to run this at war anyway, so I get why. And with the Spring and Leuhan being able to soul blast this out, at least that you can actually get this back quite easily. In which now his horse turns into a dragon and Leuhan rides on him, Soul Waking Dragon Horse Leuhan Mirrors, which is a grade 3 with drinking power in the skills. Count Vanguard during turn if your soul has the Leuhan plus 10k. And then second skill, Auto Vanguard. At the end of your turn, choose a Soul Awakened Guard Leuhan from your soul and ride it as rest. As you can see from the artwork, Leuhan calls his horse and basically decides to awaken it for a second attack, turning it into a dragon horse where he rides onto it. I say I kind of like the concept, especially on the ways that you can recycle this, so this is overall not too bad. In a way, it's a bit like RevolDressing in a way, but I wish that there was a little bit more here, but at least this one's consistent because you can ride it from deck. I just kind of wish that this one probably gets a crit because it represents the Titan-like dragon figure going critical. But oh well, it's not too bad. Just lack of power on the first attack though. Finally, Benediction Sage, which is a grade 1k power and discuss. Count rearguard. If this card boosts Leuhan or Miris, this card gets us 5k power. Okay, not too bad. It helps with extra power. But the second skill, auto rearguard. When this card boosts your Vanguard, choose up to one unit that is Leuhan or Miris from your drop zone and put it to the bottom deck. If you choose a card, cost +1, draw a card. Another way to recycle your cards, as I said, since you're going to be calling it out pretty quickly, you're going to need ways to recycle. And it's just nice that there's more ways to recycle. And this one helps with extra plussy. Because remember, your new Dragon Horse Rider Leuhan is not going to get any cards to the hand from the drive checks. It's going to go to the bottom deck despite gaining the pressure. So it is nice that you can add more cards from your hand with other means. And so far, only Leuhan uses Counterblast. So you should have the Counterblast for this cause. And you do have a generic countercharger for Cater Sanctuary that you can use for this deck as well. So overall, not too bad. So that's it for the Leuhan ride line. What do you guys think of it? Honestly, it's pretty decent and kind of awesome in concept. The horse as the companion and the knight or the guard knight, and then the horse turning into a dragon and the knight riding on him. I'm not going to say it's completely new, especially the superior ride concept on Cater Sanctuary now because of RevolDress, but I say RevolDress is still more interesting because it has more things to do than Leuhan where it just interacts with one card. But in that, pretty cool. But of course, since this is a UK ride line, we of course are still lacking necessary pieces in a way. Mainly the lack of power in this deck. But in that, that's it for this, and see you next time.